Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to my day 1 wheel and settings guide for Assetto Corsa Rally. Yes, you might have just picked up the game earlier on, you're just kind of wanting to get a basic idea of how you want to set things up. Sometimes, of course, when you jump into a rally game for the first time, it absolutely tries to shake your wheel to pieces. Other times you just can't feel anything and understeer off into a tree. At least that's my excuse anyway. But yeah, I've been jumping in with Assetto Corsa Rally a little bit over the last couple of days, obviously pre-release. Again, a massive thank you to them for providing me with early access to the game. So these are going to be kind of my basic Fanatec wheel settings that should also help you out if you're on Thrustmaster, if you're on Logitech, Moser, anything else as well. Of course, just before we get into it though, a massive thank you to everybody for their continued support on the channel. If you aren't already, please make sure you hit that sub button. We are trying to get to 5k. But yeah, without further ado though, of course, to access your wheel settings in-game, obviously you head into the main menu. Rather unsurprisingly, you head over to settings, you then go into inputs, and then last but not least, of course, you are met with these 3 screens. Now, I actually found that when I jumped into the game, pretty much all of my binds immediately just worked with Assetto Corsa Rally. In fact, on Fanatec as well, if you've got like a little dash or a screen on your wheel, it actually comes up with ACR, which is pretty cool as well. So a nice little feature there. So I found that, yeah, my binds all worked pretty much perfectly for the most part. The only one I did have to change was my gears. Originally, it wanted me on flappy paddles, but I preferred to use a proper manual sequential shifter inside the game. And then my handbrake as well, which I think is a little bit broken anyway. As you can see, it does reach 100%, but it's incredibly stuttery. So, yeah, hopefully I can sort that out in the future. I don't believe it's a game issue. I just believe it is my wheel as well. So, obviously, if you're on controller as well, you'll be able to sort out all the binds you possibly want. Or if you're on keyboard and mouse, you absolute hooligan, you will be able to sort out all your binds there. I'll quickly run through them all, but of course, button 30 means nothing to you guys, I'm sure, as well. But of course, yeah, there are lots of different options inside the game. And of course, there is like full manual H-pattern support as well. Obviously, all the way up to 7 gears, which luckily the Fanatec shifter does have. Quickly, obviously, if you're on Fanatec gear, if you're looking to buy some Fanatec gear, or Moser gear for that matter, I'll make sure I leave a link down in the description below. If you use my link, you also massively help support us as well. But yeah, you can see obviously a lot of other options and binds as well that I haven't really gone into with the game just yet, but I really do need to look into kind of fixing up some of these. I just wanted to make sure that the actual gameplay felt quite good first of all. So device settings then, there's not a huge amount you can change in here. It's mainly kind of dead zones and things like that. Now, if you've got an issue with your wheel, say for example like your throttle pedal tends to stick or something like that, then obviously using a bit of a dead zone will really help with that. And a bit like the normal kind of Assetto Corsa from many years ago, the options for dead zones are pretty good. I could probably add in a handbrake dead zone as well, maybe take like the top 10% off of my handbrake as well. Obviously, just because it plays up a little bit, so I'm going to do that right now. But obviously, yeah, you got the option to invert all of your inputs as well. So say, for example, if your pedals are a little bit weird, then you might have to invert them just to make sure they work properly. Again, I'm pretty certain that's how the original Assetto Corsa worked. I always had to invert my pedals on that game as well. But currently, I'm running no kind of dead zones or anything like that. No kind of steering center offset or steering linearity as well. Because I like kind of what I'm doing to match up 1-and-1 inside the game as well. So if we take a look then over at the force feedback, again, there aren't actually that many changes you can make inside the game to the force feedback. You have to do a lot more of it through Fanalab, which, of course, I'll go through in just a moment as well. 80 gain, though, on the wheel. Of course, that just is like the overall feedback in the car. I find if I run it much higher than that, it starts to just get a little bit rattly, a little bit shaky. And although I don't mind that, obviously, it does come through the mic a bit. So that is a bit more of kind of, you know, a video preference rather than an in-game preference. I might maybe up that to like 90 or 100 inside the game if I wasn't recording videos. Minimum force I've got set to 4. Otherwise, I find that the kind of wheel weight through some of the slower speed stuff, especially in the front wheel drives, just, you know, you're kind of trying to steer in towards a corner, and then you can just very easily kind of go complete lock one way or the other. So I've got a minimum force there, just to obviously make sure that even at low speed, I've still got a bit of resistance in the wheel. You know, it is constantly trying to straighten up, because that's what a normal, you know, rally car or road car or any car for that matter is trying to do in the real world. I've got 30% damper as well inside of the game. That is just obviously kind of when you're at higher speed or lower speed, how much kind of variation there is. Again, I just like having a bit more feel through the wheel when you're going through some of the slower speed stuff as well. High speed, it feels very, very good straight out of the box on all the default setups. But yeah, when you're kind of at lower speed stuff, again, mainly in the front wheel drive so far, I found it to be a culprit. 30 wheel damper as well works really nicely. But then, of course, steering lock, I've got set to 1080 at the moment. Obviously, you want to match that up with what you've got inside, like your Fanatec wheel settings or any other wheel that you're using. So just make sure that matches the one inside your kind of software. Otherwise, you know, when you turn in like that, the wheel in game might be more turned or less turned or the upside down or anything like that. So yeah, just be very, very careful with it and make sure they are all matching up. So if I go like that, we will head over then into Fanalab. And as you can see, here we go then. These are my kind of setups inside of Fanalab software as well. So I'm running a Fanatec CSL GT DD Pro with the boost kit on it. So 8 Newton meters, it works quite well for me. It also means I can play on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And like I said, I've got the Xbox Universal Hub with just a custom OMP rim that I like to use as well. I run it for NASCAR, I run it for rallying, and a few other bits and pieces as well. Like I mentioned, 1080 degrees for the sensitivity, exactly the same as what you run inside the game. 75% force feedback strength, I just find works quite nicely at the moment. It's just what I quite like inside the title. Force feedback scale, I've got set to peak. Again, I've just always got that enabled in any game I play, pretty much. 70% natural damper, friction, and inertia is just kind of what I like running. Always kind of gives me a smoother experience. Again, where most sim racing games now, the force feedback is pretty good from the ground up. It kind of just gives you, you know, a pretty decent baseline, and you'll notice that some of these settings are copied over from what I use on other games as well. The FFB interpolation filter, though, I've got set to off, just because I don't like running that inside games as well. It can just act as a bit of interference, I find, sometimes. So yeah, I run that one off. Force feedback, though, intensity, I've got set to 100. Game force effect strength, I've got set to 110. And then spring effect strength and game damper effect strength, I've got set to 100 as well. Completely standard for those two, but I do just like having a little bit more force through the wheel. But of course, yeah, the spring effect, of course, is how much it's trying to bring the car back to center. Again, I like running that a lot higher than I know a lot of other people do. But I think especially in a rally game, you know, especially in the front wheel drives, they're constantly wanting to try and pull in a straight line. So having that kind of extra effect just means obviously that the wheel is trying to drag you to the center, because it gives you a better idea of what the car is doing underneath you. I've also got Fanatec CSL V3 pedals, I want to say, like the fairly standard ones as well. So I've got the brake force set to 30%. It's just what I like to run everywhere. It's just what I feel is normal with the pedal as well there. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully this video helps you out. If it does, please make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. I am going to be going through, I am going to be updating this over the next few weeks as well, obviously, just as I play the game a lot more and kind of fine-tune things a little bit better. So obviously, if this video has been out for months, I might have left a different video down in the description below. But yeah, that's going to do us for this one, and we'll be back very soon with more Assetto Corsa Rally.